She was the fashion model, actress, and world-famous mother to Diddy's kids. A shocked and devastated Diddy spotted at the home where his ex suddenly and mysteriously died. TMZ reporting she had been suffering from flu-like symptoms and possibly pneumonia, but an official cause has yet to be released.
14 respond with engine 76 on scene of the cardiac arrest.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
How am I just now finding out that not only was Corey Gamble extremely close to Kim Porter and Diddy, he was there when the coroners arrived.
Her good friend Kimora Lee Simmons appearing inconsolable at the house.
And according to this blind item, he allegedly knew she was going to pass away before she did.
It seems suspicious to me, and I think they need to reopen it. Welcome to BJ Investigates. Like I promised, we got to talk about Kim Porter and the moments leading up to her tragic passing. I did request her autopsy report, and I do have it here. I've already made a couple videos, and I did address it on the last podcast episode that we did, so make sure to check that out. But there was a couple things that I really still wanted to talk about and get off my chest about this thing. Okay, so I have it right here, and we're not going to do a line by line. I want to do a line by line. If y'all know a medical examiner or a coroner who's not a total creep weirdo, I would like them to come on my other channel, That Surprise Witness, and do a line by line, but that's not what we doing today. What we're going to do today is talk about a few of the things that I didn't see mentioned anywhere in the media and that are in this autopsy result. Well, this I've already mentioned, but did you know that the day that Kim Porter was found unalive in her bed, or unresponsive, I should say, in her bed, somebody had slept in the bed with her the night before, at least according to the autopsy report? On here, it says that her goddaughter awoke next to or beside, let me find it. Oh my God, I have all these notes all over the place. Why did in the lung cultures grow bacteria in the petri dish? That's my question. Okay, somebody was saying something about ricin poisoning. We gotta look that up. All these bacterias, one called, literally feces is in the name. I mean, fecalis, so Latin, but F-A-E-E-A, whatever. The decedent, that's Kim Porter, lived in the residence at the above location with her 2 minor children, and also says that living with her in the house was her friend and her friend's daughter. Who is that? Do y'all know? Somebody comment below. Was it Kimora Lee Simmons and Aoki? I'm always trying to rope in Kimora Lee Simmons and Aoki. Future yacht girl of America, of the world.
Because you are going to be a great servant.
So she's living there with a friend and her daughter and her 2 minor children. I'm assuming it's got to be those twins. That's the only ones left that's minors. Then it goes on to say, the decedent's goddaughter, and they don't give us a name for who this person is. The decedent's goddaughter, who was visiting the decedent, had been staying at the residence since November 12th, 2018, and she died on November 15th, or that's when she was pronounced dead. So it was like 3 days leading up to her death. Her goddaughter was, quote, visiting, but some people pointed this out in the comments yesterday, and I have to agree with them. They were like, wait a second. The next day she got up and went to work, but she was visiting. So she has a job in the city she's visiting. I mean, she could have even went to work an hour away somewhere in Orange County or something. But how is she, like, she's visiting, but she has a job there. So either she maybe just got the job, or maybe she doesn't live that far away. It's a clue either way. And she's old enough to have a job, assuming that she's like legally working, but I'm sure she is. Like, she also is the one that's accredited with giving Kim Porter that deep tissue massage the day before she died or whatever. Anyway, so it says her goddaughter was visiting and she had been staying at the residence for 3 days. It goes on to say, you know, she had no pertinent medical history. And on this part, this is where I would expect them to say she had been battling pneumonia for 3 weeks, because that is what we saw in the headlines at the time. Kim Porter reportedly was battling pneumonia for weeks. They gave her saline and vitamins to treat it. So I would expect that to be pertinent medical history. None such is listed. She developed these flu-like symptoms. She calls this doctor. We don't get his or her name, the doctor, but I just can't help but remember that the doctor, Michael Jackson's, was basically poisoning him and killed him. 2 of them, his dermatologist and his regular doctor. Then you had Kanye West's doctor calling and 5150ing him in 2016.
Dr. Michael Farzam called 911 after the singer acted erratically at his trainer's house.
He was threatened. This is a trainer. Come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer.
And it's like these Hollywood house call doctors. Britney Spears has said that she was basically tortured tortured in some Beverly Hills, Holmby Hills house by a doctor who's now dead. She had traveled to Africa like a month before she died, but she wasn't sick from that. She said she felt fine. Like, it wasn't that. It was just a few days before she died, she started feeling like flu symptoms, like flu-like symptoms. And they tested her for the flu. They gave her the flu test and they gave her the strep throat test, and they were both negative. Now, the night before she passed away, which would have been November 14th, she claimed that she was feeling better and she was watching movies with her kids or with her family or with the people in the house, some way, somehow. She was watching movies. That's what it says here. I don't know, girl. They might have had her chained up in a dungeon. I don't know if any of this stuff is real. I'm just telling y'all what it says in this public record. Anybody can get this.
Who is the person giving this report?
Well, it says Detective Peteque, Peteque, and he gave his badge number 27723. So the other person giving is this, see this black? Take a picture of it and put it on the edit, but like MD. It's a medical doctor. So it says information sources, Detective Peteque and this doctor. And then Peteque kind of gives like a third-hand information story, witness statement, like he talked to people on the scene, and then he gives it. So he's like, oh yeah, like she was watching Disney movies last night or whatever. I just made up Disney. I assume she was because it was like kids. Her kids were there or whatever. I'm sure they weren't watching, Step Brothers. Maybe they were, girl. I don't know. So she watched movies the night before she died, and she went to bed about 11:30 p.m. Then it says the following morning, approximately 8:30 in the morning, the goddaughter, quote, awoke beside the decedent and observed her to be sleeping. Okay, it says awoke beside. That means woke up next to. I'll put the definition of beside right here. What does that mean to y'all? In the next room? In the downstairs? No, hell no. It means she was in the bed with her. So the question becomes, was she actually? Who is this goddaughter? Is this an alibi? Oh, nothing could have happened to Kim Porter because somebody was sleeping in a bed with her all night and it was her goddaughter. Nobody would have done anything to her that night. They wouldn't have poisoned her. Now, we do have Jaguar Wright saying that Kim Porter was poisoned. We also have Al B. Shore, who's Kim Porter's ex. Him and P. Diddy are both Kim Porter's exes. And they both have kids together. All three of them have kids together, including Diddy kind of raising one of Al B. Shore's kids, Quincy. Well, we have Jaguar Wright saying that it was a poisoning and now it's a cover-up. And we have Al B. Shore saying it was a murder.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. They have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
We also have, some speculation coming from Aubrey O'Day, who is, oh man, the web is webbing. Aubrey O'Day used to date Donald Trump Jr. And who was it that Kanye West flew to just 2 weeks after he was psychiatrically incarcerated in 2016? Remember, he was like, for years, Kanye West went on interviews and said that was traumatizing. When they put me in that hospital, they isolated me from everybody I know. They did things to me. They medicated me against my will. Where did he go 2 weeks after that? They canceled his tour. He was on the middle of an international tour.
Kanye West is hospitalized today after a string of several bizarre recent incidents.
Kanye West canceled his concert here in LA tonight, just hours after ranting and then walking off the stage in Sacramento.
They want to monetize and traumatize.
They stopped him in LA, canceled the rest of the tour because he was ranting, and he went with Corey Handler Gamble to the White House to talk to Donald Trump. Who's Donald Trump's son? Donald Trump Jr. He was dating Aubrey O'Day. And now you have Aubrey O'Day coming out saying, yeah, my ex, Donald Trump Jr., he's on DJ Academics talking about the Kim Porter stuff, and he's telling the truth.
Not me directly, but it's my ex-wife actually she was a model in New York, and she was really good friends with Kim Porter, who was Diddy's wife. The one who died at 47 from pneumonia. The one who died at 47 from pneumonia. And I was like,
that's what
when that happened, she called me, and this was a couple of years ago now. Maybe not even. A couple of years ago. And she called me something's up with that. I go, what do you mean? She's like, oh, dude, Kim used to tell me it was a bad, there's a lot of weird shit that I didn't even know but they were they'd do photo shoots together or whatever. They were sort of friendly. They'd hang out. We'd see them out downtown and I'd hang out with her. Not so much with Dad. I think it was already sort of over there, but she was really afraid of him. And
Really?
Yeah. This goes back years. And so and she was having these conversations with my ex. I was I don't know what
A lot of people believe that whatever happened there happened with the woman afterwards, which was Cassie. And it's supposedly
like I said, I didn't. You sort of don't think about these things until now. You go back and you're holy. I distinctly remember when Vanessa was calls me and was hey man, Kim Porter died. I go, what? We saw her a couple of weeks, whatever it was. It was and she goes, yeah man. She was sort of always in fear of something happening. And I was like, maybe it's natural, but like not a lot of people die at 47 of pneumonia. Like, you know what I mean? It's like pneumonia.
So it's like, the web is webbing. Kanye West has been a self-claimed victim of Corey Handler Gamble. Corey Handler Gamble was at the scene when the cops were there on the Kim Porter death date.
How am I just now finding out that not only was Corey Gamble extremely close to Kim Porter and Diddy, he was there. He was there when the coroners arrived to Kim Porter's house after 911 was called. Am I crazy? That's Corey Gamble, 100%. Not in the blue, the one right behind him. Like, I don't even have a theory. I'm just confused. And we're going to talk about this in the deep dive, but Kim Porter, when she passed away, there was obviously discrepancies in police reports versus coroner reports. Another thing we know for a fact is P. Diddy had her entire home wired with audio listening devices and video cameras. Was her passing caught on camera? Does Diddy have footage of Kim Porter passing away? I have always wondered that. I just don't get it. How has this man been everywhere, have connections with everyone, but he is really only known as Kris Jenner's boyfriend? Corey Gamble, I'm onto your trail. I don't know where it's leading me. But we'll be back to talk about this more.
Just handling, just intel gathering, just making sure there wasn't nothing laying around that might incriminate somebody. I don't know, I wasn't there. The web's webbing. Did you see the rumor, the conspiracy theory? Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs had ordered that gold-plated casket for Kim Porter a month before she died. I don't know if that's real. Maybe we can put some clips in.
And according to this blind item, he allegedly knew she was going to pass away before she did. For years, a few people have kept up the pressure about whether an ex of this rapper and mogul was unalived. Now, with more eyes focused on him, people have more questions. Why did he order a casket before his ex even passed away?
But it says it right here. At 8:30 in the morning, the goddaughter awoke beside the decedent and observed her to be sleeping. She didn't attempt to rouse her. She didn't attempt to wake her up. So maybe she was dead at that time. Somebody also said that the liver rigor something was at a level 3, and that apparently, I'll send you that comment. That apparently means she was dead for a long time. I don't know if that's true. But it says the goddaughter then left for work. Approximately 3 hours later, approximately 11:30 in the morning, Kim Porter was found unresponsive in her bed by her housemates. 911 was dialed. How about that passive voice? 911 was dialed. It must have dialed itself, girl. Who dialed 911? They didn't put it in here, and they did that on purpose. Who called 911? We do have a dispatch call.
Engine 76, Rescue 82, cardiac arrest.
And this is where it even starts to get weirder, because the day after Kim Porter died, they were already reporting, BET, Source.com, these other people, already reporting Kim Porter died from pneumonia. Some of them were reporting, Page 6 reported that Kim Porter died from pneumonia and cardiac arrest. But when we hear this dispatch call, and I don't know this dispatch call from Adam, they got stuff beeped out.
76, you're gonna get EMS 14.
I don't know who this dispatch call really came from, who it was for, but it's being presented by TMZ like the call about Kim Porter, and it says, come respond to a cardiac arrest. They say cardiac arrest like 2-3 times in this dispatch call. It's like a minute or too long, and they say cardiac arrest, cardiac arrest. No mention of cough, wheezing, pneumonia, none of that. It's just cardiac arrest.
EMS 14, respond with engine 76 on scene of the cardiac arrest. Rescue 870.
So the medical examiner did an autopsy report at first, and no matter which version of the story you look at, they were not ready to announce publicly a cause of death without further investigation. They needed to do a further investigation. The medical examiners, coroners, the doctors in charge were saying, we don't know what she died from. We got to do some more investigating. And BET and the likes are already saying everything you need to know about what killed Kim Porter. It's pneumonia. So that was weird. Also, it was kind of weird because they showed up and pronounced her dead within 10 minutes. It says that around 11:30, she was found unresponsive in her bed by her housemates. 911 was called. Paramedics and firefighters from Engine 76 of the LA Fire Department responded to the scene. I need to look up a map, see on Google Maps how many minutes that would take. Because you gotta throw on all their like firefighter clothes and things. It's very interesting how fast this happened, because it says approximately 11:30, she was found unresponsive. 911 was dialed by who? I don't know. Then it says firefighters/paramedics from Engine 76 of the LA Fire Department responded to the scene. They found her lying in her bed. They rolled her over. Then they returned her, rolled her back over, and then the death was determined at 11:40. So in approximately 10 minutes, they drove 8 minutes from the fire station or whatever. Maybe they were speeding. Maybe it was 6 minutes or something. Then got through any gates that maybe were there, any winding roads, anything like that. Got through the security of the house, got through the front door, got into the bedroom, bedroom, got rolled her over, rolled her back over, and determined all in approximately 10 minutes. Then it took them an hour and a half to call the coroner, even though she had been pronounced dead at 11:40. So I don't know about this timeline, and that's why we do them on this channel. Also, it's a little bit unclear to me whether they gave her antibiotics or not. They kind of put a lot of emphasis on the fact that they gave her these vitamins. She was having respiratory issues. I don't know if she was on some type of inhaler too. If she was, they didn't mention it. They literally tested her for like 3 pages worth of flu. Like they were trying to get the flu, I think. They were trying to find any flu. Let me see what they had said, what they had tested her for all this flu. Oh my God, this is such a long autopsy report. Girl. Okay. Nasal pharyngeal swab, adenovirus, another virus that I can't say because they're going to put a warning. Literally even saying coronavirus, they're going to put a warning. Even just saying it at all. And I'm not even talking about that because this was 2 years before that. They tested for 229E, HKU1, NL63, OC43, metapneumovirus, rhinovirus, influenza A, influenza B, para-influenza virus 1, para-influenza virus 2, para-influenza virus 3, virus 4. They tested her for every damn flu. They just wanted one to stick, I feel. I don't know, maybe it's just because she had like, lung issues or whatever, but I don't know. So she tested negative for all this flu, all this virus, all this. So there were some bruises on her. There was bruises on her upper left arm, her upper right arm. There was a puncture wound on her hand. And I thought that was from, maybe the IVs or something, could have been. There was red spots. We can put it here, but it was like red spots around a bruise. There was like a green discoloration on her stomach. Her nose was bleeding when the coroner was moving her neck and stuff. Her right nostril, I think that's what it means, N-A-R-E, I think that means nostril. That had blood in it. She had foam in her mouth. And so some people were saying, maybe that looks like she had maybe some type of seizure. Maybe she did have a cardiac event, but it was caused by the pneumonia. I don't know what's going on, but I certainly do think that it's worth taking a second look, because when the police and the paramedics and everybody arrived on the scene, it says it in here, no foul play suspected. But now we have people saying she was poisoned and murdered. Al B. Sure is saying that the same thing happened to him or something similar. You're really going to need to be calling Homeland Security. And we did kind of find like a little bit of possible suspects for who this goddaughter is, which I'm not saying she did anything wrong. Maybe she was just there with her godmother. But I don't know who the goddaughter is. I don't know why they didn't name anybody's names. Actually, I do know why. But it seems suspicious to me, and I think they need to reopen it. And there's one thing that I don't know why, this is my 3rd video I've made on this, and I just keep forgetting. But there is a part in here that does talk about, let me just read it. It's in the scene description. All right. So in most autopsy reports and coroner's reports and investigation reports I've seen, they do a brief description of the scene where the person was found. It was a well-furnished, moderately well-organized master bedroom at the northeast end of a 2-story multi-bedroom house in a residential area in the above location. The bed was noted along the south wall of the room. Multiple unopened and partially empty bottles of water, Pedialyte, and sports drinks were noted on a nightstand east of the bed and also on a dresser. So the room has water bottles all over. Some of them are drank from, some of them are not open. Pedialyte and sports drinks, I'm assuming like Gatorade type drinks, kind of bottles kind of dispersed. So in my mind, I'm getting the image of like, a room, what it looks like when you're sick in a room. You have the flu or you're just sick and you're just in that room and you're just kind of drinking Pedialyte or whatever. Like in my mind. Cups containing what appeared to be tea and water. Bam Margera had some tea and then he had a seizure or ate. And then they said he had pneumonia. Remember when Bam Margera had pneumonia and then he came out and said, I don't have pneumonia? He told me he did not have pneumonia. He told me.
I thought they said he had.
There's TMZ articles that say Bam Margera battling pneumonia. We'll put them. So, cups containing what appeared to be tea and water, a box marked azithromycin tablets, and a partially empty bottle of Tylenol were also noted on the nightstand east of the bed. Bowls containing what appeared to be tomato soup were noted in the room. So she was, it's sick. She's sick. The tomato soup, put the bowl. Well, they probably didn't taste it. They probably just said, it looks like it. They did not collect one. What if it was contaminated with Enterococcus faecalis? Did you ever think about it that way? So azithromycin tablets is an antibiotic. I would like to know if the box had any missing from it, or was it just a box sitting there? They did not collect any evidence from this scene. None. So there's bowls with what appears to be probably soup, a partially empty bottle. This is groundbreaking. I can't believe I left this out of my video already I made yesterday, but A partially empty bottle of zolpidem tartrate, which was not prescribed to the decedent, was noted in a drawer in the master bedroom. That is Ambien. And I hear it in my mind. It's like hearing voice. I'm hearing voices. She had a partially empty bottle of Ambien in her dresser, and all I could hear in my mind was, in my mind, day 600 of trying not to become schizophrenic. Jay-Z growling, "City never sleep, better slip you Ambien." New York. Why is this Ambien? Now, that raises all kinds of questions to me. Did she take that Ambien? It says it was not prescribed to her. Maybe it was the goddaughter, maybe it wasn't, but who was taking the Ambien? And if she was taking the Ambien, why didn't it show up in her toxicology report? What is Ambien? I don't know. It literally says, a partially empty bottle of zolpidem tartrate, which was not prescribed to Kim Porter, was noted in a drawer in the master bathroom. I really need a coroner or somebody to look at. I don't know. Y'all, all I'm doing is reading a story. I'm using my English degree to read the story. So she was observed lying in the bed. What is supine? That on your back? Partially on her right side with her head to the south and feet to the north. The right side of her face resting against a pillow. The right arm bent. The right hand resting against the right cheek. So like, the left arm was also bent and resting against the left side with her left hand near the right side of her abdomen. The right leg was slightly bent and resting on the bed. The left leg was extended straight out and resting over the right leg. Evidence. No evidence was collected for this case. No foul play suspected. That's pretty much all I really had for the Kim Porter autopsy report. I did request Aaron Carter's, so we'll see what comes with that. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it, okay, bye.